Let's start for the folks that don't know. Give me like a quick summary or story about how you became a creator. Like, give me the backstory.
Yeah, so it started when I was 13. My sister had actually posted me on social media for the first time. She got me to do a little dance trend with her. So did that, and that was back when TikTok was actually called Musical.ly. So this was 10 years ago now.
Were you a good dancer? Were you known for dances?
No, I'm a very poor dancer, very poor dancer. So she definitely carried in that video. And then, went on from there. I had a lot of fun making that video with her. It ended up performing a lot better than her typical videos. So we got excited about that and started making content together, posting as much as we could, going live a lot, found there were ways to monetize the content we were making, and it kind of just went from there, kept with it. When I was 17, I went on a tour with a bunch of my friends across the United States, where we were doing around 800 to 2,000 people shows, and that's when we really looked at it as something we could turn into full-time jobs.
And these are fans of yours coming to see you in real life.
Yeah. So it was a pretty cool experience for me, getting to see the faces of those comments and likes that we always just kind of see through the screen, and getting to interact with them in person. So that's really when it all started for me, and when I realized this is something that we could build from and make more from. So that's when we moved out to LA, started a production company, management company, venture fund, and continue doing the social media as well.
Did you ever think you'd be doing a venture fund when you were dancing with your sister at 13?
No, definitely not. I don't think I knew what a venture fund was when I was 13. No. But no, this is what I love so much about social media is you can obtain so much knowledge through it, but you also get to meet so many really interesting people. And you don't realize how far and wide your audience really expands until you do get to see those faces, until you do get to go out and travel and meet so many different people. And that's what was able to lead me to those different ventures.
Were you like famous in high school? Like, was that weird?
It was weird for sure. I wasn't famous in high school.
You said you're from a real small town in Canada.
Yeah, small town outside of Toronto, about an hour east of Toronto, and it's a town of 15,000 people. So you're either a hockey player or a farmer there, and that's about it. And I feel like small towns don't really adapt to change quite well. And when I was the first kid using social media and making social media content, it was actually a pretty negative reaction from my peers in high school. And so those 3 years that I was in high school, it was a lot more of being made fun of, or a bullying aspect that I had to overcome. But yeah.
What would this is about the power narrative. What would you say is like the Josh Richards brand?
I think the brand of Josh Richards is quite wide. From making my lifestyle content, showing people what I'm doing on a daily basis, from bringing people into my page and allowing them to have a laugh and forget about maybe what's going on or have a little bit of escapism, but then also, educating people on a little bit of financial literacy, or having my podcast where we're able to discuss things between pop culture or also politics a little bit. So it's kind of all over the place.
Well, and let's talk about the podcast. How did the podcast come to be?
Yeah, so that podcast came to be when I was 19 years old. I had
19.
19. I think. Yeah, that's the right age. I had made a diss track on social media. So I had made a comedy rap song against a peer of mine, and Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports had seen it. It had started trending and reached a different demo than my content was typically used to reaching. So I really tried to latch onto that pretty quickly. Being on TikTok, have a very dominant female audience.
Okay.
So knowing Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports is more of that male leading demo, I thought, why not, try to do something where we can make content together. So we did a live stream where we had around 100,000 concurrents watching.
Wow, okay.
And I was just explaining the diss track and the pop culture.
Wait, how'd that come to be? Because you were 19.
Yes.
How old is Dave? Like 40?
He was, I think, about 44 at the time. Yeah.
Anyone from here, not from the States, who knows Dave Portnoy or Barstool, or just show your hands?
You got a hand right there. A couple hands over there.
All right, there we go. How did that come to be from like, I'm going to post your diss track to like, come on, I'm going to come on the show, let's do something?
Yeah. So I had reached out to him after seeing such a good reaction from the live stream. I felt like this was a way that I was going to be able to transition more into sports content, transition more into a male demo, and asked him, why don't we continue out what we did in that live stream and grow that out into longer form? Instead of it being, a 30-minute live, why don't we make it an hour show where I Gen Z get to explain to, what we've called boomers now. I get to explain to them what's going on in pop culture.
Okay. And it took off from there.
Yeah, it took off from there. And then after a couple episodes, we realized, all right, this is a little bit too bro-y. We need to get a female perspective. And that's when we brought on Brianna. And she was able to come on and definitely, help us out. And that's when the show, I think, really found itself.
So you have this, multi-channels. You're, you have the social media, you have podcasts. Like, that's a lot of, how many listeners do you think you have?
On the podcast, I think we have over 1.5 million people that follow on TikTok, and then the YouTube is over 700,000 subscribers, and then each episode probably ranges at around 250,000 to, as high as 3 million listeners in an episode.
So that's a huge megaphone. That's like, the new alt media, if you call it new media. Like, how do you kind of work out that responsibility you have, and how do you use that platform for your brand, but also for just stuff you care about?
Yeah, I think for, as a brand or things I care about with that, I've always felt like it's really important to just stay authentic, stay myself whenever I'm making an opinion or whenever I'm talking on there. We always have said it's really important to, just go on and speak your own truth, because then no one can ever back you into a corner or get you to feel like what you said was wrong or what you said was a lie or anything like that, or twist your words around. So I always find if you speak your truth and stay authentic, you're going to do all right.
Oh. You are a brand. How do you make money these days?
Yeah, so there's multiple different ways to monetize on social. Through just posting and having ads be fed into your videos, if that's either, ads that are put in between Snapchat stories, or if that is the monetization on YouTube, or even on TikTok when you post over minute-long videos. But we find actually reaching out to brands is always been our best strategy, always been the way that we're able to close the biggest deals, because now that brand knows that, it's from an authentic place. I'm the one that's reaching out to the brand. I'm the one that wants to work with them because I use their product or because I believe in what they're doing. So we've always found that, being the person that actually does the outreach really does help and gets the brand behind you. But then also trying to find ways to monetize in areas where, it's not reliant on just my face, where we go and build up the production company, and now we're able to produce for companies like General Motors, or we go and produce the Gen Z content for the Pro Bowl. So it's just finding different ways to be able to diversify your portfolio.
That's wild. And I think you have a popular podcast, and the U.S. election showed the power of podcasts, just the reach. Where do you think, and it's hard to break through in that world, but once you do, like you guys, huge power. Where is podcasting going? Where is this, like Bree said perfectly, like it's like the news, but it's newscasters that you like and relate with, huge power. Where is this going, you think?
Yeah, I think to piggyback off what Bree said in that last panel, it's really the new form of news media. I think it's where people are going to, hear about what's going on in these political runs. It's where people are going to hear about what's going on when you have situations like LA fires that just happened. It's where you go to also get a laugh. So it's become this form of media where you really get everything all in 1 hour or 2 hours, or if you're Joe Rogan, 3 hours, and you get kind of all of those pieces in one place.
Well, selfish question. I'm from Forbes. We're the old school traditional media.
Yeah.
What can we? Yeah. What can we learn from what you guys are doing?
I think bringing on people like ourselves to help you guys, if that's either in a way of starting to create, the Gen Z Forbes TikTok account, or if that's bringing in people to give you guys just advice or sit at that table and in those meetings and be able to kind of talk to you guys from, what the youth wants.
So you'll do it?
Yeah, if you want me there.
I love how you evolved. We have like less than a minute left, but I love how you evolved from dancing on TikTok to your own brand, lifestyle, VC, podcast. Like, what are you excited about next? Like, what's the next couple of years look like for you?
Yeah. I think the next couple of years it's continuing to grow out that production company. I think that's something that I've really enjoyed, getting to be behind the camera, but also getting to produce projects that I kind of look at as my babies and get to be in front of the camera in those as well. So
do you see these as like working on commercial projects, like for brands, or maybe your own different kind of more pure creative stuff?
I think a little bit more of my pure creative stuff is something that personally I'm really excited about. I think for the company, I'm really excited about continuing out and doing stuff in the commercial space. But getting to step into more TV and film. We're producing a comedy sketch show for the second season right now. So more and more in that lane.
Amazing. That's a perfect place to end. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Josh, Richards, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all you guys.